Hello, I'm Eric Fry, and behind me is 2122 Broning Highway in rainy Baltimore, Maryland. Today, this massive structure houses an Amazon fulfillment center. In a few moments, I'm going to tell you exactly why I don't think anyone should be holding Amazon in their portfolio right now. Instead, I'll give you the name and ticker of a little-known e-commerce company that's more like buying Amazon in 2005, before it went on to reward investors with roughly 100 times their money. But first, I want to draw your attention not to the Amazon warehouse behind me, but to what once stood here. A business many believed was too big, too iconic, too all-American to fail. General Motors. 2122 Broning Highway is where General Motors' Baltimore assembly plant was located for several decades. When it was built in 1935, GM's state-of-the-art assembly plant covered 40 football fields. It was highly modern, with railroad lines and test roads, and nearly 7,000 people worked there at the peak. But in 2007, this iconic Baltimore landmark was shuttered for good. That event shocked investors and longtime employees of the plant. But I saw the writing on the wall well in advance. In fact, I published my research online so I could help shake other investors awake to what was really going on there, just months before the plant closed down. At the time I did that, 2/3 of the analysts on Wall Street were rating the stock a buy or a hold. But despite Wall Street's optimism, when I looked under the hood of that company, I saw an engine running on fumes. GM wasn't so much a car company anymore as it was a house of cards, propped up by wishful accounting. I knew we would soon see GM run out of cash, so I doubled down and called GM a strong sell. Sure enough, the unraveling I predicted came to pass. On June 1st, 2009, General Motors disintegrated in what Forbes would refer to as the most important bankruptcy in U.S. history. Today, at 2122 Broning Highway, there's no sign of what once was. One empire has been replaced by another, one era swallowed whole by the next. But here's what's even more important about the day I told folks to sell General Motors. On that exact same day, February 25th, I also shared a buy recommendation on this company you see behind me. At the time, it was called Metal Management. Today, it's called Sims Metal. And it's one of the largest full-service metal recyclers in the country, with 53 locations, pretty much just like this one. But had most people ever heard of Metal Management? Not by a long shot. Unlike GM, this company was not an American icon. It didn't build cars, it crushed them for scrap metal on dirt lots. I mean, look at this place. It's hardly worthy of a front-page news story. You could drive by and not even notice it in this unremarkable industrial section of town. But at the same time I told my followers to buy it, steel prices were soaring, which made Metal Management very profitable. But the stock was so cheap, I began to think I was the only investor out there with a working calculator. So what happened after I said sell GM, buy Metal Management? While GM tumbled more than 50% on its way to being delisted from the New York Stock Exchange, the share price of Metal Management nearly doubled. So why am I sharing this tale of two companies with you today? And what does it say about the future of Amazon and other legacy companies like it here in 2025? With the rise of AI, with the political and social chaos mounting, and with the exponential change coming to the stock market and the economy, I believe we're about to see countless examples, just like GM and Metal Management, with pairs of stocks that are speeding in opposite directions. These two locations and the stories behind them are a perfect example of what investors could be in store for as we watch exponential technological progress reshape our world in almost unimaginable ways over the next 12 to 24 months. On one side, failures on an unprecedented scale, failures that ultimately mean a total loss for investors. And on the other side, a story of tremendous sustained wealth coming from some very surprising companies, just like the business behind me. No bankruptcies, no government bailouts, no drama. Just a share price that has nearly tripled over the past 5 years. One thing you're going to see today is that in the months and years to come, winning and losing at investing will not happen the way you think it will. Many winning investments, the Metal Managements of the world, will not look at all the way you think they should. Meanwhile, the GMs of the world are about to get swallowed up by the massive changes happening right now. That's why, for many investors, Finding success in the stock market is about to become so hard to achieve. Over the next 12 to 24 months, knowing which companies to run from and which to run toward will become more difficult than ever in the age of exponential progress and mind-warping technological advances. But distinguishing between the two is about to become crucial to your financial survival. I'm here today to prepare you for the coming market upheaval and protect you in the aftermath of a world cleaved in two, a world of winners and losers, creating a wealth gap larger than anything we've ever seen in all of humanity. Over the next few moments together, I'm going to help you get started finding your way with 7 buy and sell ideas completely free. This is the kind of information that my readers pay thousands of dollars for per year to access. But I'm giving you my analysis, the names and tickers, and insight into how I choose stocks at no charge. Come on, let's go inside and I'll show you our winners and losers. All right, I want to jump right into it. Let's get to our first sell this, buy that pair. My number one sell today is Amazon. Get rid of it. For many years, Amazon has been the stock to own. In fact, it was one of my buy recommendations a while back, a recommendation that gave my subscribers a chance at booking a triple-digit gain. But it's a new era now. Amazon is going to be, for the foreseeable future, one of the prime, no pun intended, victims of the trade war. Up to 70% of what you see on Amazon comes from China. Tariffs on those goods means that Amazon could lose its competitive edge entirely. I don't expect the stock to go to zero, but its profits could get majorly squeezed, which means you're not getting any rewards as a shareholder. Plus, Amazon's cloud service division has missed analyst expectations for 3 straight quarters. That's a huge mess. That's the part of Amazon's business that they consider to be their growth driver. But it turns out it's not growing like everyone expected. So Bezos and company are panic pumping $100 billion into this lagging part of their business just to try to stay relevant. That investment is bleeding them dry, and at the end of the day, it's a $100 billion coin toss as to whether it will even work. For those reasons, sell Amazon. Now, what do you replace Amazon with? Well, while Amazon bleeds from 1,000 cuts, there's a company most Americans have never heard of that's growing even faster than Amazon in the world's most connected economy. It's called Coupang. But most Americans have never even heard of it. So why not, you ask? Because Coupang is the Amazon of South Korea. Now, don't get scared. This company trades right here on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol CPNG. Even though Coupang isn't a household name here in the States, it is well known in every Korean household as the go-to provider of Amazon-like services. And the smart money is already moving away from Amazon and toward Coupang. That's just the beginning. Projections are showing Coupang could become 700% more profitable by 2027. And look, Coupang already generates over $30 billion in revenue, but trades at a tiny fraction of Amazon's valuation. It's like finding Amazon in 2005, but with a bigger competitive advantage and stronger momentum. For that reason, sell Amazon, buy Coupang. Now look, I just mentioned this, but it bears repeating. Some of the sells I'm giving you today, they're not inherently bad stocks. I mean, I don't think Amazon is going out of business, for example. But tying your money up in so-so stocks represents a huge opportunity cost, especially given the alternatives. Right now is not the time to be in my sell companies if you want to capture major stock market gains, and do so as confidently as possible, which is every investor's goal, and what I help tens of thousands of people do through my sell this, buy that recommendations. In fact, I've been making these calls for 30 years now. In 1996, I made a series of sell this, buy that recommendations. I called them Franco-American trades. Basically, sell America, buy France. Now, don't hate me. My job is not to be patriotic. It's to go where the money is at any given time. So I said, sell Coca-Cola, buy Dannon Group. Over 10 years, my sell fell 5%, while Dannon, my buy, jumped 322%. I also said, sell Hilton Hotels, buy Ban de Mer Monaco, a French resort company. After 9 years, my sell was up just 26%. But my buy, it soared 866%. I also said, sell Citigroup, buy Banque Nationale of Paris. Since that sell this, buy that recommendation, Citigroup is down 1%, while Banque Nationale of Paris has delivered 1,355% gains. This proves just how toxic one bad stock can be. Investors who bought Citigroup in 1996 have not made a single dime on their money in 3 decades. Zero. On the other side, anyone who followed my buy that recommendation could have made as much as 10 times their money. $10,000 becomes over $135,000 there if you had held on. So 2 lessons here. 1, never be afraid of foreign stocks. I love them in some circumstances, and I've picked countless numbers of them over my career that have rewarded my followers with maximum gains anywhere from 1,000% to as high as 12,000%. 2, your money is precious, and it's finite. You've got to make the choice to target outperformers and not settle for anything less, especially now when the chasm between winners and losers is widening at breakneck speed. In the 3 examples I just gave you, $10,000 into my 3 sell recommendations would have landed you a disappointing $32,300, while that same amount of capital in the 3 buy recommendations would have had you sitting on a 6-figure sum of nearly $230,000. Of course, that's an extraordinary example. Those are some of my best long-term opportunities, and you would have had to exit the trades at the right time. I'm simply using it to illustrate the stark dividing line between winning and losing. It could be the difference between falling behind or getting what you want out of life. That said, are you ready for the next pair? Let's do it. Sell Tesla. Now, of course, there are the obvious reasons why this has become a risky stock to own. Elon's political stunts torpedoed its car sales in early 2025. But in the grand scheme, that's just a blip on Tesla's radar when you dig into the much bigger problems the company is facing. Like the fact that Tesla is getting crushed around the world by cheaper Chinese EV competitors like BYD. BYD is making more cars and more money, all while selling its vehicles for just over $10,000, 1/3 of what the lowest price Teslas cost. And in the US, Tesla's losing market share to powerful competitors like Volkswagen and Hyundai. Now, you might think, if Tesla can't revive its EV business around the globe, and there's a very real chance it won't, the company still has a big future in robotics. I'm talking about Tesla's humanoid robot, Optimus, which Elon claims will be 10 times bigger than the biggest product ever made. Elon has said he imagines warehouses filled with Optimus robots, 10 of them for each human on Earth, in fact. He claims they're rolling out this year. But here's the problem. There are no formal commitments from any large companies wanting to purchase Optimus robots. There isn't even a pre-order system like there has been for Tesla's cars. And if we have learned anything about Elon Musk this year, it's that while he's probably a certifiable genius, he's also the ultimate hype man. But here's what Elon won't tell you. Warehouse industry insiders view humanoid robots as more of a futuristic marketing gimmick. The real automation revolution is happening with purpose-built systems that don't waste energy trying to look human. Therefore, it could turn out that the best-selling robot Tesla makes is just a $40 Optimus action figure on its website. Given all the headwinds Tesla's facing right now, the numbers we hear on upcoming earnings calls are not going to live up to all the hype Elon is peddling. And this stock is destined for purgatory, we'll call it, at best. So Tesla, bye-bye, you're a sell. In place of Tesla, I've got the perfect antidote. I love this stock. It's a direct competitor to Optimus, but it's a first mover and already well established. Buy Symbotic, ticker symbol SYM. Symbotic uses AI software to control robots tailor-made for warehouses and distribution centers. But unlike finicky humanoids, they're installed much like Lego blocks. Once they're in, the robots can travel 25 miles per hour and transport hundreds of pounds. Tesla's Optimus can only move at 5 miles per hour while carrying only 45 pounds. Pretty weak. The contrast really clicked for me when I watched Symbotic warehouse robots move like a choreographed dance. Perfect precision, zero downtime. It hit me. Tesla is building robots for the future, but Symbotic is printing money with robots today. Symbotic's revenue has spiked 15-fold, from just $100 million in 2019 to over $1.5 billion today. Its current backlog alone means there's another $23 billion in future sales that's already baked in the cake. Again, compare that with zero formal commitments for Tesla's Optimus. Even if Optimus eventually rolls out to warehouses, it's a little bit like bringing a Swiss Army knife to compete in a Formula One race. I mean, yeah, the knife is highly functional, it's a great tool, but it's all wrong for the task at hand. And lastly, we're hitting the perfect storm for a robotics explosion, labor shortages, wage inflation, and supply chain disruptions. Companies aren't just kicking the tires of automation anymore, they are desperate for it. In other words, Symbotic isn't selling robots, it's selling survival. A write-up in Forbes recently said the scale of Symbotic's automation is hard to grasp. Bottom line, sell Tesla, buy Symbotic. And then, if you want, you can put any money you make towards an Optimus robot that will walk your dog for you. You know, this is not the first time I found a short-term paired trade where I was short on Tesla, meaning to sell it. I did it in 2016 also. I decided to sell Tesla, buy Tech Resources. Tech boomed as high as 745% in the next 10 months. Tesla fell 9%. Think of that in terms of real money. In my sell position, a $10,000 investment would have shrunk to $9,100. In my buy position, it would have ballooned to $86,400. And actually, this was the first trade I picked in one of Wall Street's biggest investment competitions, Portfolios with Purpose. In that competition, I went toe-to-toe with legends like David Einhorn, Bill Ackman, and Joel Greenblatt to see who could create the top-performing portfolio. And guess what? I won. At the end of that competition, I netted 140% return when the market returned just 12%. That tenfold beat earned me the title of America's top trader. Well, it was clear to everyone who closely followed my strategy in that competition, and what I hope is becoming clear to you today, is that winning is only partially about which stocks you buy. Equally important are which stocks you sell or never buy. In other words, a big part of saying yes to a stock is saying no to lots of other stocks. If you say yes to a bad one, as you've seen, you're stuck. Now here's a quick test you can do today. If you already own stocks, look at each stock in your portfolio and ask yourself honestly, do I believe this stock will make me rich? Could this stock be at least a 1,000% winner over time? The answer to both questions should always be a resounding yes. If the answer is no, or even I hope, get rid of it. Don't let opportunity cost steal your future. Now, obviously, none of us has a copy of next year's newspaper. We can never know exactly what the future will hold. In many ways, the future will only ever be a guess. Don't let anyone ever tell you differently, but we can educate this guess to stack the odds in our favor, which is exactly what we're doing here today by upgrading the stocks we're holding to better picks that are tailor-made to thrive in this age of chaos we're living in. That's what Sell This, Buy That is all about. So if you missed jumping on Netflix as it disrupted Blockbuster, if you missed getting into Apple while it crushed BlackBerry, then our third Sell This, Buy That pair is your chance to make up for that. And that chance is coming from the financial sector. In the red column is our sell. And today, it's Bank of America, ticker BAC. Now, Bank of America represents everything that's going wrong with traditional banking. Walk into any branch on a Tuesday afternoon and you'll see what I mean. More tellers than customers. That makes its 3,700 financial centers across the country a huge liability. Every one of those branches represents potential millions in real estate costs, employee salaries, and maintenance expenses, all for a service that customers increasingly are not using. Not surprisingly, the company I recommend generates twice as much revenue per employee as Bank of America does. And for most younger folks, a physical bank is kind of like a money museum. There's simply no reason to ever set foot inside of one, or even to visit an ATM. They've found a much better alternative, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. And while behind the scenes, Bank of America is making a huge effort to catch up on digital technology, it's trying to bolt modern digital features onto decades-old core systems. It's like trying to stream Netflix through a dial-up internet account. Every innovation Bank of America introduces is something that fintech companies have been doing already for decades. So it's time for folks to wake up to the fact that stocks like Bank of America are value traps. In other words, It might look cheap on paper, but it won't offer growth in a digital world. So what's the disruptor that's taking down Bank of America, taking it down like it's the blockbuster of 2025? We're going to upgrade our investment in the financial space by buying Block Inc. Block Technologies is building the future of financial services. It has two brands out in the world, and both are juggernauts. Its Square platform is what's replacing small business banking, and its Cash app is what's replacing traditional banking. Again, if you're over 50 like I am, you may not use banking apps as much as Gen Z does, so you'd be forgiven if you think it's just a way for kids to send money back and forth. But if you look closer at user behavior, you see that Block's Cash app users are building their entire financial lives on that platform. They deposit paychecks, invest in stocks and Bitcoin, borrow money, spend at stores, and use it as their primary bank account, all without ever setting foot inside a traditional brick-and-mortar banking branch. Once users integrate their entire financial life into Cash app, the switching costs become enormous, and no $200 sign-up bonus from Bank of America is going to lure them away. Every year, Block is adding millions of new users to its Cash app. These are customers that used to hold their primary accounts at places like Bank of America. So while Block is in for explosive Netflix-style growth, it is also a proven, profitable business that's still in the early innings. For that reason, sell Bank of America, buy Block Technologies. By now, I hope you see how important it is to look at trends, sectors, themes, and choose, with conviction, which stocks to buy and which to avoid. This is the key skill that has propelled my entire career in the investment industry. Not only that, it's what brought me from the brink of bankruptcy to finding over 40 stocks that have gone on to deliver 1,000% gains or higher. That's 41 chances to 10x your money. Achieving that takes a lot of determination. And that deep drive to win stems from one life-altering failure that nearly destroyed me. Back in 1985, I received a $200,000 inheritance when my grandmother, Leela Chestnut, passed away. Leela was born dirt poor in 1898 to a single mother in Mississippi. And when her mom remarried and had 3 more children, she was tasked with taking care of them. But Leela yearned for a better future for herself. So as a teenager, she moved to Los Angeles and enrolled in nursing school. By the time she was just 23 years old, she'd become the head surgical nurse of California Hospital Medical Center in Los Angeles. She built a life of privilege for herself and her family in Pacific Palisades, California. And her only daughter, my mother, would even play with Shirley Temple sometimes in the summertime. So Grandma Leela spent her golden years traveling pretty much everywhere. She even took a 3-month first-class cruise around the world. And when she died, she was generous enough to pass that wealth down to her heirs, including me, one of her 3 grandchildren. So knowing the odds that she overcame in her life, I did not take that $200,000 inheritance for granted. Grateful for her generosity, I parked that cash safely in a bank account and let it rack up interest. When the stock market crashed on Black Monday in 1987, I felt like a genius. While everyone else was losing their shirts, I was sitting pretty in cash, untouched by the carnage. Then one day, I read an article about a utility company in Salt Lake City called Bonneville Pacific. The story painted a glowing picture of a company destined for greatness, and I was completely sold. So I took a big chunk of Grandma Leela's inheritance and invested in Bonneville Pacific bonds. At first, everything went smoothly. I felt like a genius, again. But then, something started to go wrong. My investment began tanking from 100 to 90, then to 80, then 70. But instead of cutting my losses and walking away, I thought I saw a bargain, so I bought more. When it fell further, I took what money I had left and bought even more. By the time I realized what was happening, most of my cash was tied up in this single investment. But the nightmare wasn't over. It kept falling and falling, all the way down into single digits. And that's when the truth came out. The company had been cooking the books. They completely pulled one over on investors, including me. Bonneville Pacific filed for bankruptcy, and I was wiped out. That loss triggered a cascade of events that then pushed me to the brink of bankruptcy. Everything Grandma Leela had left me gone. The devastation of watching my money evaporate fundamentally changed who I am as an investor and as a person. The only silver lining was that I was still young, and there was time for me to transform that huge mistake into a lesson. When you know what it's like to lose it all in a bad investment, risk is no longer some abstract idea from an economics textbook. Risk becomes a life experience seared into your memory. Look, you cannot have investment success without risk. The key is taking smart risks, not stupid ones. A stupid risk is like walking a tightrope across Niagara Falls for just $20. If you make it, you get $20. If you don't, you lose your life. A smart risk is like walking through a crosswalk for $1 million. I mean, sure, there's a minute chance you could get hit by a car or struck by lightning, but these kinds of risks are worth taking for a potentially extraordinary reward. So when I'm showing you a stock to sell and a stock to buy today, I'm showing you bad risk versus good risk. You make your money by buying great stocks, but you protect that money by knowing which ones to avoid. Ramalila's hard-won gift to me could have easily been $10 million in my pocket today if I hadn't lost it all on a bad risk. Instead, that monumental loss became the foundation for everything I've shared over the past 30 years with hundreds of thousands of my readers. People just like you who've had a chance to act on my sell this, buy that insights year after year for a shot at serious returns. Like when I said sell Twitter, buy Ormat on the same day. Twitter suffered a brutal loss of 64% less than 3 years later, while Ormat shot up 100%. Or when I said sell Lennar, buy Valero. Within 3 years, Lennar lost more than half its value, while Valero more than tripled. And these recommendations have even held up over the very long term. Even if you bought and held both Valero and Lennar for the 2 decades after my sell this, buy that recommendation, you would have ended up more than 3 times richer off my buy than my sell. That's the magic of these pairs. Let's jump into our next sell. And this one is going to shock a lot of you watching, I know. Sell NVIDIA, ticker NVDA. For sure, it's been the golden child of the AI boom for the past 2 years. But the big-time money grab, that's over. Look at the numbers. NVIDIA used to keep 78 cents of profit on every dollar of sales. Now that number is down to 71 cents, and it's falling fast. That's what happens when everyone and their brother starts making competing chips. And the competition is heating up in a big way. Amazon, Google, and Meta, some of NVIDIA's biggest customers, are all building their own AI chips in a move that could potentially cut NVIDIA out of the picture. Just 4 companies, that's right, just 4, make up 46% of NVIDIA's entire business. If each of them were working on projects that turn them from customers into competitors, that could send NVIDIA's stock down the drain. Gizmodo summed it up in March 2025 saying, gradually, then suddenly, the big tech companies are replacing NVIDIA's pricey AI chips. Remember when I talked about bad risk? This is what I mean when I say bad risk. It's the same exact situation that tanked Intel stock when Apple created its own custom alternative. Apple went from customer to competitor, and Intel stock tanked 71%. The reason this crash was so surprising to so many was that the crash came on the heels of Intel delivering an 11,600% gain to investors. It was a stock that looked unstoppable, just like GM did, just like NVIDIA does now. Plus, pressure is mounting from other AI chip companies that are rolling out alternative chips at roughly 1/5 the price of NVIDIA's. That makes them much more appealing to small and mid-sized companies, which are exactly the ones that are going to be building up their AI capacity in the coming 12 to 24 months. Then there's the China problem. I mean, isn't there always a China problem these days? NVIDIA just had to write off $5.5 billion worth of chips they can't sell to China because of trade restrictions. That's real money disappearing from the company's bottom line. And with global tensions rising, more countries could get cut off of NVIDIA's customer lists. For those reasons, trim the bad risk here and sell NVIDIA. So if NVIDIA is out, what could possibly outdo the AI king in an investor's portfolio? Well, here's what almost no one's talking about. While everyone obsesses over AI chips, they're missing the one component that makes everything work. Without it, even the most powerful AI chip is just expensive silicon. See, when you build an AI data center, you install thousands upon thousands of servers. But here's the kicker. Those servers are useless unless they can talk to and learn from each other. And the way they communicate is through optical fiber cables. New AI data centers need 10 times more cables than regular data centers. We're talking about enough fiber to circle the globe 8 times in a single facility. And to harness that growth for a shot at a huge payday, I've got a pick that might be as surprising to you as it is potentially explosive. And it fits squarely in the category of stock I love the most: overlooked and underhyped. The company I'm talking about invented optical fibers 50 years ago. It's been quietly building the backbone of the internet while scores of companies have boomed and busted over the years. And now, as AI explodes, it's a leading supplier of what every data center desperately needs. And it's manufacturing most of it right here in the United States, in North Carolina and Arizona. By the end of this year, it'll also have built a nearly $1 billion factory in Saginaw County, Michigan, which means, of course, no tariffs and no trade restrictions for its U.S. customers. Here's the beautiful part. Unlike NVIDIA's customers turning into competitors, nobody is trying to manufacture their own optical fiber cables. AI hyperscalers are all fighting to get more cables from this company, not replace them. The company's CEO recently said its production of AI fiber is tripling every month. Let that sink in. The company is tripling its production, its output, month over month to meet demand. That's growth. And much of that supply is already spoken for. High demand means customers are inking deals with the company to reserve product ahead of time, so these customers can edge out their competitors. In fact, 80% of the optical fiber AI cable this company makes over the next 5 years is already spoken for. And as a beautiful cherry on top, this company has a really nice dividend that has been consistently hiking for the past 13 years. So who wouldn't want a cash payout on top of this potential for mind-bending growth? Look, the case I'm making here is already playing out across the market. Suppliers to data centers are overtaking NVIDIA's growth. Vertiv Holdings, a data center cooling company, has grown 1,407% over the past 36 months, far outpacing NVIDIA's growth. And Modine Manufacturing blew NVIDIA's gains out of the water by more than double over the same time period, earning investors 10x their money. While I can't promise gains that high, the same pattern is repeating with the buy I'm recommending that you replace NVIDIA with today. Over the past 12 months, its share price growth is twice as much as NVIDIA's. And I think we're just getting started. I want to reveal the name and ticker symbol of this buy recommendation today so you can add it to your portfolio immediately. This company just inked a deal with Broadcom to develop a breakthrough technology that will allow data to flow as light signals through an entire AI network. This breakthrough could skyrocket demand as soon as the technology rolls out to customers, sending the share price through the roof. I've put all the details in a report I'd like to send you right now. It's called Optical Fiber Fortune, the 10x AI infrastructure play Wall Street is missing. I also want to set you up for even greater success in the markets with 3 additional reports. Each one highlights a huge trend playing out right now and offers you a well-researched sell this, buy that recommendation for each trend. First, in my report, Sell This, Buy That, the $24 trillion rise of robotics, I go even deeper into this exciting industry. You already know I'm recommending you sell Tesla, buy Symbotic. Well, in this report, I'm going to give you 3 more stocks you should own to capitalize on an industry that's projected to grow to $24 trillion. That's 10 times bigger than all the top automakers in the world combined. Plus, I'll give you the name of an industrial automation company that insiders are dumping, and so should you. The second report I want you to get your hands on today is Sell This, Buy That, the race to AGI. As we race toward AGI, or artificial general intelligence, every industry will be shaken to its core once AI is as smart and versatile as humans. Some experts estimate we could see AGI by the end of this year. So in this report, I share 3 buys primed to soar in the era of AGI, and 1 sell that could very easily go to 0. And third, I want to send you Sell This, Buy That, Energy's swan song. Now, energy is a massive play right now, but it's complicated to navigate. That said, it's not unusual to see a single AI data center being built that uses as much electricity as 800,000 homes. That's like suddenly adding more than 4 new cities the size of St. Louis to the energy grid, just from one structure alone. So power generation is right up there with optical fiber. It's going to need to scale at an exponential pace. So in this report, I gave you the names and tickers of my 3 favorite legacy energy buys and offer up the name of a cheap but far too risky sell that's headed for trouble. So, in addition to getting the optical fiber buy recommendation you need to replace NVIDIA with now, you'll also get a total of 12 more sell this, buy that recommendations inside these 3 reports. So look, if you're wondering whether these reports will be valuable to you or not, consider this. In 2024, the US added 562,000 new millionaires. Who are these people? By and large, they are stock investors who were in the right stocks at the right time. While I can't promise you'll become a millionaire, this could be your year to see huge returns. And to help you increase your chances, I want to send you one more very valuable report to help you steer clear of potentially large losses over the coming year. It's called Insider Exodus: 5 Stocks C-Suite Execs Can't Dump Fast Enough. Corporate executives can sell stocks for many reasons, not all of them bad. But when I run my full-scale Insider Exodus screener, I can isolate which companies look to be in very bad shape because of the specific patterns I see around insider selling. In this report, I share 5 companies you'll want to avoid at all costs, because it seems the company insiders, aka those who know the most about what's really going on, have lost faith in what the future holds. And all this will appear in your inbox when you take a zero-risk trial subscription to my top-rated financial research called Fry's Investment Report. When I say zero risk, I mean it. If you don't like my research once you try it, I'm happy to provide a complete refund on your order. I'm committed to shouldering all the risk here because if you're anywhere near my age, I know you've seen lots of offers for investment newsletters and research over the years. But I promise you've never seen anything like Fry's Investment Report. I say this because in nearly 3 decades of investing, I've compiled what I believe is one of the best track records in the entire industry. I've picked more than 40 investments that saw long-term gains as high as 1,000% or higher, without touching options, cryptos, or penny stocks. And here's a question for you. Have you ever seen a list of stocks that have absolutely trounced the market and realized you've never heard of any of them? You think, where do people even find these things? The answer is right here in Fry's Investment Report. Check it out. Have you ever heard of InterDigital? Well, neither have my readers, until I sent them a buy recommendation on it and gave them a chance to more than 10x their money over the long term. Or how familiar are you with Australia and New Zealand Banking Group Limited? You can bet my readers will never forget that stock and ticker after getting a chance to take home as much as 7,908% in long-term gains on it. You'll also find InTouch Holdings, Minor International Public Company Limited, and Westpac Banking Corp on this list. My point is that 99% of average investors never even had the chance to learn about these companies because most analysts who do what I do are focused on low-hanging fruit. But I'm not. Inside Fry's Investment Report, you'll break through the barriers that keep far too many folks fighting for scraps in the same small pool of opportunities. You'll finally have the tools to navigate the entire blue ocean of undiscovered, misunderstood, underpriced gems in the stock market. Over the next year, in Fry's Investment Report, I'll show you how to build out a portfolio of companies primed to dominate in this age of chaos. I'll keep you updated on the key stories and data for every company I'm recommending. In short, Fry's Investment Report is my way of continuing what we've started here today together. And I'll be there to help you every step of the way to make sure you know exactly what to do and when to do it. I publish about 12 new stocks to buy each year, and I send out weekly updates on our portfolio if anything material changes that you need to know about. I also write to you several times a week with my perspective on the markets and trends that affect your financial life and livelihood. Normally, access to all these benefits costs $499 per year, or a little more than $1 a day. And that price is well worth the money when you consider the career track record I've delivered to my readers across my services. In fact, Comparing what you see on your screen right now to that daily cost of about $1 a day for membership to Fry's Investment Report, it's easy to see the value my services provide. But today I have an even better offer for you, because I realize this might be the first time you've ever seen me. And if you've continued watching to this point, well, I know you've found a lot of value in what I've already provided. And I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I also hope you've seen that I'm passionate about helping my readers find opportunities to transform their financial future by knowing what to buy and what to sell and when. So to get you off any fence you might be sitting on right now, I'm here to offer you a totally risk-free money-back deal today, plus a huge discount to the retail price of Fry's Investment Report. I do this because I know that over the past 30 years, many of the folks who joined Fry's Investment Report stay with me for the long term. So here's everything I'm sending you today when you step forward to join. First, you'll receive Optical Fiber Fortune, the 10x AI infrastructure play Wall Street is missing. Like I've said, the new deal this company inked to develop a technology to allow data to flow at the speed of light could soon make them the most in-demand AI company out there. So you've got to get in now before the price potentially skyrockets. Next, you receive my brand new trio of Sell This, Buy That special reports. The $24 trillion rise of robotics, with 3 buy recommendations and 1 sell. Race to AGI, with 3 more buys and 1 sell. And Energy's Swan Song, with the names and tickers of my favorite legacy energy plays and 1 renewable energy stock to get rid of. Plus, I'm sending you my Insider Exodus report, so you don't end up losing it all on companies that even the C-suite has lost faith in. Finally, you get the next 6 monthly issues and all recommendations inside Fry's Investment Report. Throughout the month, I'll also be in touch with timely updates so you never feel like you're left hanging. Remember, the regular price is $499 for an annual subscription. But today, I'm dropping this price by 80%, so you'll pay just $49 for 6 months of Fry's Investment Report. Why so cheap? It's simple. The age of chaos is already here. Hesitating or holding back now will only hurt your chances of winning. The chasm between winners and losers in the stock market is accelerating quickly. And like it or not, your future hinges on whether you choose to tie your fortunes to the winners or the losers. Believe me, the more people who understand how to do this correctly, the better off the world will be. And it starts here today with you. I know my work can steer you toward the goal of having a lot more money over the next few years while avoiding the huge investing mistakes too many Americans are making with their money today. That's why I want to send you this valuable collection of special reports and 6 months of Fry's Investment Report for just $49. With all this information in hand, you'll understand why the wealth gap is only going to accelerate further in America over the next few years, and how to make sure you are on the right side of this trend. This is what I do best. I dig deep into the most important global macroeconomic trends of our time to pinpoint the specific ways to profit from these powerful wealth-creating opportunities. If you know where to place yourself, you simply get positioned in the right spot. Trust the process, and let these wealth-building opportunities work their magic. Before I go, here's a secret I haven't told you yet. I don't just make Sell This, Buy That recommendations in the pages of Fry's Investment Report. I've also presented trades like these at various gatherings over the years. One of my favorites is a yearly meeting in a location I'm unable to disclose, where some of the top hedge fund managers and professional investors gather to share strategies and ideas. Well, the first year I attended, I brought a Sell This, Buy That idea to present to the group. That pairing, which was Sell Emphasis and Buy Indian Hotels Limited, turned out to be a spectacular recommendation. While the share price of Emphasis was slashed in half over the next 5 years, Indian Hotels Companies Limited soared 136%. For the next 7 years, I returned to this invite-only affair to present a new Sell This, Buy That recommendation each time. Over those 8 years in total, my sell recommendations went on to fall an average of 46% over the following 5 years, while my buy recommendations averaged 201% gains over the same time period. That's a 247% difference. That's the gap between a financial future where you're nervously scraping together pennies to treat your spouse to a nice dinner, or you're enjoying a leisurely weekend at your favorite getaway without a second thought to how much it costs. Again, I'll put these numbers up against anyone on or off Wall Street. My track record is why the most respected financial media outlets in the world ask for my take on the best stock opportunities and which stocks to avoid. I've appeared on CNBC, Fox Business, and been featured in Barron's, The Wall Street Journal, Business Insider, and USA Today. Look, we are at a watershed moment, not just in our lifetimes, not just for our generation, but for the entire timeline of mankind. The age of chaos is reshaping the investment landscape beneath our feet. The question isn't whether this period of extreme volatility will create unprecedented opportunities. It absolutely will. The question is whether you'll be positioned to capitalize on them, or whether you'll be swept away by them. History shows us that the greatest fortunes are made during the periods of greatest uncertainty. While many folks panic, the prepared profit. While many relent, the informed act with confidence. This is your moment to choose which side of history you want to be on. That's exactly why I've created Fry's Investment Report, to help profit-driven people navigate this chaos and emerge wealthier on the other side. Right now, you can secure a 6-month subscription to Fry's Investment Report for just $49, a full 80% off the regular price. But this special pricing is only available through this window. Do not click away. Simply hit the Join Now button on this page to grab this offer. I've made it so affordable for you to rid yourself of the companies that are going to suffer in the next 12 to 24 months and upgrade to high confidence positions in the companies that are thriving and have the potential to hand you real wealth. So if you care at all about your financial future, taking this kind of proactive approach is critical. And today, for roughly a quarter a day, you can have it all at your fingertips. There is simply no better opportunity in the investment world today. And if you disagree for any reason, that's fine. You can receive a full refund on your order in the next 90 days. No strings, no hoops to jump through. Keep everything and just walk away. I give you my 90-day risk-free cash-back pledge on the very next page when you click the Join Now button on your screen. Once you do that, you will land on a secure order form that puts all the details of today's offer on one easy-to-read page. Clicking right now obligates you to nothing. Once you're on the order form, you can decide to join or not. When you do, you'll get access to all these critical research reports and all the buy and sell ideas they contain in a matter of minutes. The age of chaos will create tomorrow's millionaires today. The only question is, are you positioned to claim your share? Click the button below now, before this moment and this opportunity passes you by forever. I'm Eric Fry, and I can't wait to welcome you into Fry's Investment Report today.